Are you ready? Are you ready for the end? Are you ready for the AI, AGI, cyber surveillance cabal? The kaboom, the kabang. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. How bad can it be? And what am I supposed to do? Listen carefully and we'll tell you what you should do. Listen carefully. Because what we're going to do is we're going to provide you some lessons as to how to handle this. Because when you go through the news and you read through this, you realize, my God, is there any end to this? Is there anything even remotely similar to the end? Well, that's what we're going to get at. Welcome, dear friend. Welcome, dear friend. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to this thing of ours. Welcome. I say to you right now, welcome. Welcome to what we're doing. Welcome to this glorious admixture, this confabulation, this conviviation. Now, everywhere I go, I think to myself, we've got to calm this down. I don't know if people can really handle this, especially youngsters and folks who are tired of hearing all the time how this is going to be the end of everything. And a lot of folks, frankly, enjoy this thrill, this idea of the end of everything. Let me see something right here. There we go. I think we're sounding great. Are we sounding okay? Good. We got it? Everybody 5 by 5? By the way, do me a Mark, you've been complaining the whole time. Is he here? Is this the right time? Is the sound all right? Are we okay? Are we ready to go? Is this it? I don't know. What time did he say this was? I'm not sure. Both time and date are not usual. Is he okay? Is this wrong? I hate to miss this. Is this right? Is this sound on? What's going on here? Is this right? Where am I? Is this all right? Is he okay? Am I in the right place? I love this. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, let's go back as to what's going on in the world today. First of all, Target's closing. Not all of them, but bulks huge numbers of them. Why? Because of the complete and total collapse of law and order. Do you see what's happening? That's part of it. Biden is also stumbling about. And then in the meantime, what's going on in the back of the world is this thing called, I call it surveillance, but dystopian. This is all that I were watching, happen to be watching this wonderful piece, wonderful piece. There's a show called The Morning Show, Apple. It is so corny. Absolutely so monumentally corny. It's not even funny. Using every cliche there is, but there was a piece about ransomware. And ransomware seems so quaint. So quaint. Who is watching out for us? Who? And I know that nobody wants to talk about this, but in the scheme of all that is happening and all that's being discussed by Joe Biden and others, nobody is talking about what is happening to the infrastructure, the grid, and all of that. Now, I don't want you to freak out, but there's so much to freak out about, isn't it? Now, let me be honest with you. Is there anyone here, any of our dear family members, who feel that they're unable to really handle this sometimes? Do you say, I can't take another story? I can't take another story. I can't. The surveillance apocalypse, I can't do it. I don't know how I'm supposed to go through this. I can't live through this, right? Who here is feeling that? Who feels, I don't know what to do with the news anymore? Quit telling me bad stuff. Everywhere I go, it's something awful, something terrible, something ruinous. The end of something new, another horrible show. Dear God, what is happening, right? Am I right? You better believe I'm right. You better believe I'm right. Aren't you thinking to yourself, my God? I want to ask you, there are a lot of dear friends of ours, good people, good folks, friends of ours, who really do not have, are not that, well, I don't want to say, how do I say this? I don't want to say are not well put together or not, lucid or whatever. But I would be less than honest if I told you that There are folks right now who can't look at the news. How many right now? Raise your hand. How many are saying, I can't do this anymore? What is this going to be? Everywhere I go, I hear another show, another. I was watching something today. And I was watching a show. Just don't ask me how I fell into it, but I fell into this wonderful world of Mr. Beast. Have you seen this? He is probably the most watched, biggest YouTube numbers across the planet. And I've been watching this. And it's fascinating. And the young, you've never studied, because I love to study what YouTube is doing and how they handle this. Up. Look at this. 1-800-Lionel now. You are so good. Thank you so much. You're beautiful. I've never seen Mr. Beast. It's okay. But listen to what I'm saying. Remember, we don't necessarily have to always say that we don't watch things. That's all I'm saying. But let me just put it to you this way. Let me just say something here. And listen carefully to how this thing works, okay? Let me put it to you this way. It was a world of just nice stuff. And young people working together, working on thumbnails and descriptions, some of the best TV production and video production there is. Some of the best. It is so. When I was doing TV, there was a fellow we had who I thought was the greatest. This guy was the greatest editor I've ever. I didn't see all of them, but people said he was the best. Absolutely, just a genius with putting things together and stuff. And my editing is rather de minimis compared to his. But in any event, as we look at this, I realize these people are happy. They're happy. They're doing things which are really fun and positive. And he has 284 million. He is, because of his franchises, because of his food, and because of his Mr. B. I think he has 200. No, hang on. He has right now, I don't know how many of these various ones. Just a second. He has, oh my God, there's 7. I got to get the right numbers, Mr. Beast. So many. This is an industry. He's worth about. He's got 186 million. Pardon me. Excuse me. 186. He's got 186 million. Turn that down. 186 million. And he has Beast Philanthropy, 17 million. Mr. Beast Gaming, 38 million. Beast Reacts, 29 million. Mr. Beast 2, 31 million. And it's just fun. And people just look at this car and this car. Great. And I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody for being in this world. Our world is so dank and dark and horrible. It's horrible. You understand this? And I'm telling you, more and more and more. Mrs. L and I, we just had to take a break, and we're watching, murder documentary, any old Twilight Zones. I'm serious. What good is this for us to know every single thing that goes wrong? They're closing Target. Bob Menendez, and they're going to be indicted. It's like, dear God. Just for a second. How many of you have said, I don't really, just don't tell me? And it's okay. You can also tell me how many people have said, I just don't want to be a part of this anymore. Whatever happens. I can't do anything. Nobody's asking me my opinion. I'm too young for this. This is horrible. This is terrible. This is seriously. There are folks. Yep, he makes a living off of giving money away. In fact, Liz, that's a part of it. He makes maybe $500 million a year. if close to. Being nice. Being nice. Oh my God. It hit me today. I say, every day, what am I doing? I'm in the world of gloom. And what I'm doing is I'm not trying to tell you. I'm trying to be both your preacher, your inspiration, your what am I trying to say? Your priest, but also your doctor and your counselor and your uncle and your brother and you know what I mean? I'm just trying to kind of balance all this. I don't even want to be the doomsayer. But there are things that I'm saying, but you've got to know this. But you've got to know this. And then I look at these wonderful people and these young people, and they're so happy, and they're happy. And I'm thinking to myself, they don't even know. They don't even know. Maybe that's good. You see the balance, the balance of this? They don't know. It's fascinating. This is a new generation. This is the new world of information and the dissemination of information, and God bless them for that. And what do? We bring just horror shows and darkness, and everything they do is just happy and happy. I was thinking about this, for example, as you know, and I'm sorry to say this, think about this as camping. But my Patriot Supply, what is it? Well, it's emergency. Emergency, well, you know, it's nice to have it if you go camping. If you go camping in your home for long periods of time because of, well, you know, stuff. Preparewithlionel.com. You can stack up this emergency food. What do you need emergency food for? You know, in case, I don't know, maybe an emergency. Emergency, I know. I mean, here I am breaking. I'm telling them about these horrible things that can go on, but you got to kind of know that. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm always going to tell you that. I've got to balance this. It's about, yes, we can be positive, but let's don't be la-la land positive. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense? Preparewithlionel.com. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. It's true, though. There's that balance. There's that thing. There is that thing. They were asking Mick Jagger the other day about all his friends that were dead. He says, well, you know, we do want to talk about this. He's 80 years old. Yeah, his friends are dead, and yeah, the rockers are dead. But he said, what are we going to do? Talk about this all the time? I think he recognizes it. I think he realizes it. I'm serious. I've been thinking about this very greatly today. Very, very greatly. I think that we do sometimes a disservice to each other when we do nothing but focus to the point of losing our mind on this sense of, Trump. There was a preliminary hearing or a finding, I guess, regarding fraud. As Trump is like, oh God. And then we get into news like it's trivial, like it's just trivia. More, I don't want to do it. I don't want to break my rule. But then again, I'm not going to be happy all the time. You do find the news interesting, but I was just curious about. There should be kind of, sort of, maybe trigger warnings, and there's a lot of folks who, believe it or not, don't know what's going on, and I can't say I blame them. Do you? We talk about stuff. How many kids are missing from Ohio?
Well, so far 50 for the month of September, but 1,000 so far this year.
1,000 kids missing from Ohio. Now, I don't know how to say that in a nice way. I don't know how to explain that one to you, but that's the way that is. It's the most horrible thing in the world. Dear God. What do we do this? Hot Pocket says, have you checked out the Kensington Philly Trank? I'm sorry, excuse me. I thought this was my friend, the joke. The Kensington Philly Trank live streams. Cam 1 in particular. Talk about a zombie apocalypse. Hot Pocket? Yes, I have. And I am fascinated by it. Because my honest opinion, dear friend, is I don't want to live in La La Land. I don't want to watch any of this stuff that millions and millions. I don't want to be a gamer. I don't want to watch people who see who can sit inside a circle for the longest. I just don't. I don't like pretend happy. I like to know. And here's the thing. This is the part that gets me. The news does not depress me. I do not get depressed. Don't get depressed from this. Don't. You have to become more of the psychopath. When you see like Hot Pocket, and I see people, and they're just, it is the absolute destruction. The people who watch Mr. Beast, they don't want to watch this, and I understand this, and maybe I just, you know what, I never wanted to go to Disney World. I'm not a negative person, but it doesn't bother me. It fascinates me. It fascinates me. I want to know what's happening in the world. And I am sometimes I worry about people who have a difficult time with it, but I'm not like that. I'm a very positive person. I'm serious. I do not dwell in this. I look at something. Let me explain something. I look at the news like I look at a movie. That's terrible. That's good. Either way, nothing I can do about it. Good or bad, nothing I can do about it. We are seeing, in some respects, and this is fascinating, where does the truth lie? If all of a sudden I broke into a Mr. Beast set as they're saying, hey, do you like mint chocolate chip? Or, excuse me, yes, who is this man? Are you aware that 1,000 children are missing in Ohio? What? Who are you? I'm reality. We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about this. I don't blame you. But one thing, do you notice that Target closed? Right now, Target, because of this seemingly systematic theft. Do you understand this? Doesn't that fascinate you? Do you think there's a historian anywhere? When you go to history, think about this. You go to a university, and you say, I want to. Let's say you're in Oxford or Cambridge, and you want to. I want to read history, but I want to read good stuff. I want to read good history, nothing bad. What is good history? What is good history? It's the bad history that you study, the bad stuff. You don't good. Think about this. There's no such thing as good history. You can't go there and say, I just want to hear the good stuff that FDR said. The good stuff. The good stuff. Yes, the good stuff. What do you do about the good? What do you mean the good stuff? Yes, I just want to hear about good stuff. I want to hear about the good parts about World War I. The good parts of it. No, how we pulled together after World War II, that's not good. Yes, but that's not. You have to. Bad is what changes the world. Bad is what makes all of this possible. When these nice people are doing good things and handing out money and they're making people happy, why? Because they're trying to conquer bad. And if it wasn't for bad, there'd be nothing for them to conquer. Life is a balance. Life is this balance. And I just don't want you to get so into it where you're negative and you can't get out of bed and you can't move. Because let me explain something to you, and I want you to understand this. Like I always say, if I were speaking before a school, before a class, before some high school, I would say there's no meritocracy. I want to know how you handle disaster, how you handle disappointment. How you handle dealing with idiots. You have no idea how many idiots I have to deal with. I was on the phone today, and I very rarely lose it. And I didn't really lose it. But it's a settlement of a case with an insurance company, and you have never lived. You don't understand. Now they're treating me like this. Imagine you're just somebody, and I'm talking to this, and I don't understand. But as soon as I hear the hello, yes, I'm going to. Whoa, 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 whoa. How many times have you say, excuse me, I want somebody in this country? And let me tell you what happened. Before you think I'm a xenophobic, let me tell you something. I want to talk to somebody in the United States. I want to talk to somebody in the United States because number one, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Because I'm using terms and subtleties and phraseology that I do not think you understand. Number two, I don't think that this nicey, okay, I'm very sorry. Yes, I understand. Quit acting like grief counselor. Yes, I am most upset with the fact that you... Excuse me. Yes, I got a problem with the policy. Yes, I'm trying to provide I'm trying to escalate. Excuse me. Stop talking like this. Nobody talks like this. This is robotic. Give me somebody in the United States. I want to talk to somebody who speaks English. Please. But they speak... No, you speak English, but you speak a weird colloquialism that doesn't understand what I'm saying. Okay. Then they switch to somebody in the United States, and I say, I want somebody back in the Philippines or wherever. I mean, they were at least nice. Who's this? This is worse. Yeah, they understand me, but they're ruder. It's unbelievable. If I have a company, I'm going to have this incredibly complicated customer service where nothing ever gets solved. I just have these grief counts. Yes, I'm so sorry that you are unable to complete the transaction. Stop it. Oh, I'm sorry. Stop it. Not Latka. Taxi charger. By the way, Mark, I got to tell you, you speak in languages I don't understand. Taxi charger. Charger toda emque. Emque juston. Yes. Latka gravis. Stop, give him not attention. He is nothing, only devours us. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I stop and I read what you're writing. I'm thinking, what are they saying? What are these people saying? What do they do during the day? And then somebody will say, I agree. I agree with what? I agree. With whom? That guy. Who? Me? Who? What? What? Anyway. Now, as we speak, the end of the... I don't even know where to say it. It's never going to be the end of the world because the world will always be here. There will always be a world. The world will be here. The world will exist. This thing will physically be here. And the people will continue to propagate. They will have children, and there will be this... Life will go on, and people who look down on us will say, looks like they're thriving, but they don't understand that we're going through surveillance and a loss of security and all this other kind of stuff. What I'm trying to tell you, dear friends, is that get ready. Get ready. With a smile. It's going to be you. And I tried. I really tried to ask you to understand it, to explain to you what it means when we've talked about, or I've tried to explain in the past, this wonderful thing called AI, artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence, and people have somehow confused it with robots. I was talking to somebody, who was it recently? And they kept calling them robots. And I'm thinking, I don't think that's going to be the problem. What do you mean? Well, I mean, robots, no. No. It's artificial intelligence. Huh? Do you have any idea what this is? Robots. No. No, it's not robots. It's not robots. It really isn't. It's something even worse. Really? Yeah. It's kind of worse. Really worse? Yeah. Bad. And what's interesting is that no matter what I try to do to explain this, it's a waste of time. Now, not to make anybody upset and not to make anybody go bananas and berserk, but right now we're just kind of coasting along and we can go through the headlines, but let me tell you what's happening. Let me see if we can do our best to maybe try to, I don't know, maybe explain things as best as possible. Number one, you are going to see crime at levels that it's not even crime. Let me see if I can explain this to you. Shall I? Let me give this a shot. It's not crime like the old days where there was organized crime and gangs. And do you think there's going to be? We watched something the other day and they had just today. It was terrorism. Where people put their car bombs and things that blow up. And I'm thinking, do you see what we're going to do? Do you see us having, showing that terrorism? Is there any more terrorism? Where did they go? Where did they go? They were here the other day. I don't know if we're going to see that anymore. So the crime we're going to be seeing is not just crime that we're used to. It's going to be this type of crime that's going to be the complete and total collapse, the ruination of order. It's just going to be nobody stopping them. You see, if all of a sudden the police just go away and everybody just takes stuff, don't need to run, just walk into a store, take stuff, and the store is going to close. Is that crime? Or is that just the lack of order? That's what we're talking about. That is what we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. That is what we are talking about. Do you grasp that? And then one day when we were watching this Apple TV, the morning show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and Billy Crudup, it's very good, very, very good. And they had ransomware. I'm thinking, ransomware. Some guy playing music who wants $50 million. No. What if one day you say, what is this? Well, this apparently is an artificial intelligence rogue system that's somehow coming out of nowhere, doing this horrible stuff to us. And we don't know where it is, who it is, what it wants. It's not human. It's its own, and it seems to have basically shut down everything because it can. And when we were talking about artificial intelligence, we talked about this thing called alignment, which is how do we make sure that these people, these things don't do bad stuff to us? And that is the part which I have been saying, you don't know. Believe me, people walking into a CVS or to a Sephora with big garbage bags and cleaning off shelves, that's bad, but that's articulable, identifiable. The problems that I am seeing are so grandiose, you can't possibly even imagine them. You can't imagine them. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't imagine what you can't. Because it doesn't you won't, you'll say, who are they? I don't know who they are. What do they want? They don't want anybody. They just can do this. Do you see this? They can. We don't know where they are, who they are. It doesn't exist. And one day, these cute, folks who are doing their nice, great, very popular videos may one day see them just shut down. Not because of some kind of weaponization or some YouTube, Google. No, it might be somebody who just broke into the system and just basically deleted everything, shut everything down, because it could, because it wanted to, because it just, you don't know. Imagine making an 800-pound gorilla with a 300 IQ. And what I just described to you is, to me, so frightening and so necessary. And I have given up completely. I try every now and then, like now, to try to tell you, you might want to look into this. Because we're going to call it surveillance apocalypse, but it's bigger than anything. It blows my mind. Think about that, dear friends. Think about it. It's going to be bigger than anything you can imagine. It's going to happen, and nobody's thinking about it at all. Because they don't even understand it. And that's going to be the issue. You are wonderful people, dear friends. Don't lose your sight. Don't lose your focus on this one. Stick with me. Stick with us. You are going to see surveillance in the future. It's not even going to be called surveillance. You are going to be in the fishbowl. You will be in the zoo. You will be in the observation tank. You will be there. Do you hear what I'm saying? You will be there. Not anybody else. You. Oh, delightful it will be. Delightful it will be. Just get ready, my friends. Get ready, get ready, get ready. I'm telling you, listen to me. Don't get upset. Don't. Because you can't even explain this. And I know it's to me, it's so clear when you're saying, where? What does it want? It may want, who knows? It may want ransomware. We don't know what artificial morality or immorality looks like. We don't see what a non-human form of, quote, immorality, with a system that doesn't have morals or a soul, but just raw, brute force intelligence. It blows my mind. But don't lose faith. We're going to be here together. We're all in this together, brother, as a great Cam Fong, as Chin Ho said. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Don't forget, preparewithlionel.com. Save $200. Save $200. I'm telling you. Off a 3-month food kit that you so desperately need. And you will thank me for it. Prepare with Lionel. Prepare with Lionel. Prepare with Lionel. Preparewithlionel.com. Go there now, my friends. Go right now. I don't want to say before it's too late, but believe me, it's one of those things that you're going to be so glad you did. I hate to break it to you, but it's so true. All right, friends, have a great and glorious day. We will talk to you mañana. We will talk to you at 8 a.m. And until then, remember this, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.